Good morning. We begin with a Face the State exclusive. Embattled Mayor of East Haven, Joseph Maturo, in his first extended interview since making comments that made headlines across the nation. And Mayor Maturo, we thank you for being with us today. I want to ask you, first of all, what has it been like the last couple of days, all the media attention that has been focused on you?
Dennis, first, thanks for having me on the show. It's really been a whirlwind for me. It's not a good whirlwind either. I tell everybody when they ask me, I get a lot of, hang in there, Joe, Mayor Joe, we're behind you. The last 3 or 4 days have been very tough, but not as tough on me, I would imagine, as it is on a lot of other people in our community. But yes, and I'm sure we'll get into that. I probably lost a pound or two.
Have you had any threats?
Some unslept nights? No, I don't. I haven't had any threats that I know of anyways, and I don't think it'll ever get that far, I certainly hope.
So mostly media calls and things like that?
Yeah, the media is, they're behind me, they're in front of me, they're hanging out near my house, they hang out outside my office door. It really has been a whirlwind of negativity, too, for, again, our community, and those are the people who are probably hurting more than I. So I don't feel sorry for myself. Whatever has happened, I brought it on myself, and this too shall pass with some healing.
Let's show you the tape exactly, in case the viewers have not seen it, exactly what you're talking about here.
What are you doing for the Latino community today?
I might have tacos when I go home. I'm not quite sure yet.
That was with Mario Diaz of a station in New York City. He asking you what you were going to do for Latinos tonight. What exactly were you thinking when you said that? Was it
apparently not much? But to be fair, that was, I don't know, maybe 6 seconds of maybe a 16-minute interview at that particular time, and it's not an excuse. It was late in the day. I had already made my first mistake, and that was holding 15, 16 press conferences. I tried to make myself available to everybody who came around with a pen and pencil and a pad, whether they had a camera in their hand or just a pad. I should have. If I was a little more astute, thinking a little better, I would have called a press conference, did it all one time, and that was the end of it. I said a lot during that day in favor of the Latino community, in favor of our community. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 7, 8 minutes into the interview, he says to me, "What are you going to do for the Latino community tonight?" It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm not thinking of supper, off the cuff, bang, it goes out.
Had you ever said anything like that before?
No. Have I gone to eat tacos before? Sure. Have I ever said something in that context before? No.
Had you heard it in a joking manner before?
Have I heard? No. No. It just came out exactly like that.
Let's talk about this interview, because you said it was a response to a flippant question. And when you look at the raw tape, you were sort of needling the media, saying that we were blowing the whole thing out of proportion.
And I forgot
with the
what led up to that. But when he said, "What are you going to do for the Latino community tonight?" Now, there was nothing, this is a process that I inherited when I came on board. I've only been on board a month and a half. I was mayor 10 years prior to this. Not one complaint did we ever have of abuse with our police department that I am aware of. Not one. I inherited this situation. What are you going to do tonight? It was something that has been investigated by the DOJ for over 2 years. Whatever I could have done that night was nothing that I could solve or help solve, other than it was a comment that was made without thinking. I should have stopped and thought. I did not do it. What I should have said, I'm going to go out and do what I'm going to do for that community, that I'm going to do for my whole community, and that's to keep us safe. But when it came up tonight, again, we've all had the brain doesn't think, the mouth opens, and the foot goes in. And that's all it was. It was a dumb comment. And I've apologized for it, and now I think it's time that we all moved on. We have a lot of healing to do in our community. We have a lot of outreach we have to do in our community on both sides. We have a police department where we have 4 of our officers whose families are going through a devastating time right now. One of our officers is still in jail in another state. It's devastating for the whole community to be You know, it's time to move and heal the process rather than, well, what about that incident? Well, what about that incident? It's not good for the news media. It's not good for our community. I know you want to say something. We got to realize when we put our head on the pillow at night, did the news media, did Joe Maturo, the mayor of the community, help the community today, or did we hurt the community? And when this keeps being played and played and played, it doesn't help the community. All I can do is make something good come out of something bad.
You have apologized for this several times, in fact, yet some people will not accept the apology. There have been some newspaper columnists who've called on you to resign. The Hartford Courant called you, quote, an idiot. How can you continue to, lead this town after these accusations?
You know what? I was voted in for my 11th year. It will be 12. I have an obligation as the leader of our community to do what is right for our community. I've learned, as we all learn, and for those people who will not forgive, I don't say forget, we all learn. We've all made mistakes. You're in front of the camera a lot. A lot of people, those who do not make a mistake, do not realize that they're thinking properly. Yeah, we all make the mistakes then. It's time to move forward and to heal. I expect those people to say, geez, Joe should resign, Joe should do this, Joe should do that. But by the same token, there's people out there to say, Joe, you made an error. Hang tough. You're a good leader. And I'm going to be a better leader. And we're going to heal, and we're going to make East Haven a great place to live.
Has this incident made you a better leader, do you think?
Oh, I think it has. You know, we all learn from a mistake. I mean, there's not one of us who hasn't erred. And we learn from our errors. At my age, you know, I'm 61 years old. I've already had 11 years in being a mayor. I served almost 20 years as a firefighter. I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I've learned from every profession I've been in. I'm a state certified electrical inspector, an electrician. No matter what I've done in any of my careers, I've made mistakes, and I've made mistakes in my own family. But it's time to move on. We will be better.
Let's talk about the federal investigation. When you first heard these allegations about these officers, what did you think?
It was a sickening feeling. And it has been a sickening feeling ever since those 4 officers were arrested. I knew when I came into office that I was going to be in charge of settling something that did not fall under my watch, did not even start on my watch. All these allegations, I was not in office, we never had these problems. I knew that when I ran. I thought if there was going to be somebody in a position to make it better, I wanted to be that guy. And that's why I ran for office. And I still think I'm that person. And I still think that, you know, our police department was not diversified at all when I took office in 1997. We had no minorities on our police department. It was Chief Len Gallo and Mayor Joe Maturo who reached out to the community, who reached out to all segments of the community in different languages. Every time we had an application, our police department is more diverse now than it ever was. And that wasn't done by mistake. We went out and put an effort into that. And I make one mistake, and all that goes by the boards.
Do you believe these allegations against the officers?
That remains to be seen. I take them very seriously. Do you doubt
those allegations?
We have a problem within our police department. The facts bear that out, or the allegations bear that out. There's the DOJ and the FBI have investigated it. They found enough with those 4 officers to make arrests. That means there must be something there. Whether they will be found innocent or guilty remains to be seen. I'm a flag waver. I believe in the judicial system. It's going to take its course. In the meantime, we are instituting different policies. I've commissioned the LEARN Commission, and it's the Law Enforcement Advisory Resource Network. I've reached out to different people in our community. Latinos in our community is on that board. I've reached out to professors is on that board to help me advise not only the police chief, but our police commission on how we can make our department better, our police department better, and face those facts and those requests by the DOJ that said where we were lacking in our police department. We're doing that now. We've already instituted some of the policies.
The investigation found that police systematically discriminated against Latinos with conduct that was deeply rooted in the department's culture. Do you believe there is a culture of racism in the town of East Haven?
I don't believe the town of East Haven, the people of East Haven, believe that. Is there a culture within our police department? Well, we're going to find that out, and through that investigation, we will root that out, and I think the DOJ is in the process of doing that. I think there's a whole process involved, and with 2 years investigation, they came up with saying that there was in our police department. They did not say it was within our community. The DOJ's report was on our police department. They arrested some officers. It has a process to go through. As the leader of the community, I'm reaching out to different people to see if, and professionals, to help solve that systematic problem that they're saying is within our police department. Our community is a great community. And you're not saying that it's in our community?
Or in the
is that
force?
what you were saying? The force is different. Our community...
Do you believe there's a culture of racism in the force?
There may be in the force. And with a month and a half into this, and with that Learn Committee, we're taking it heads up, I think, then. But within our community, you know, we're a hard-working, blue-collar community made up of probably more Latinos now than we ever had. 14 years ago, the ratio was probably 1 or 2%. It's now up near 10%. That means we are a safe community. That means the Latinos are moving into our community. Why? Because it's a good community. They're law-abiding citizens just like everybody else. We welcome everybody. If it's within the police department, we'll find it out, and it's my job to fix it, and I will do that.
Do you expect that there'll be more officers arrested?
You know what? Our attorney for this case, Hugh Keefe, says that the investigation is still open. There may not be. I do not have the crystal ball. I don't know. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. It would be unfair for anyone to say, and I've heard it out at the press, I've heard it out on the street, yeah, there's going to be 12, there's going to be... No one knows except for the people leading that investigation.
You were born and raised in East Haven. You're a townie, some call you. Have you ever witnessed any racism by the police department in all your years in that?
I never witnessed it. If I witnessed it...
Did you hear about it?
No. As I said before, Dan, I served 10 years. Not once did somebody come to my office and complain about it. Not once did my police commissioner ever come complain about it. We always ran a straight, narrow ship. What happened over the 4 years I wasn't there, I'm not sure, but all I know is I inherited this. I will fix it. We will be a better town, and we will have a better police department for it.
Do you regret bringing back Chief Gallo so early into your new term?
No. You know, when I ran for office, I said there was only going to be one police chief. I got elected under that. I said, there's an officer getting paid. He's out on leave. You bring that officer in if there's charges to be filed. Right now, you know, to release a police chief, you got to have, by law, you got to have pretty high standards.
Is he the right man to lead your town?
For the time being, you know, I don't want to say yes or no, and here's the reason why. That investigation is still ongoing. It would not be prudent for me to, that whole department is still in an investigation. It would not be prudent to me to pick one officer over another officer. Right now, our department is making progress. Whether I have to make changes tomorrow, this afternoon, or next year, when I see fit that those changes might or must be made, I'm going to do it. And although Lenny's, the chief's a friend of mine, it will get done.
What will you do for Latinos in your town?
Well, we've already started. And with this committee, by reaching out to the Latino population, I've put on Jose Velasquez, who's a community, been in our community over 30 years. I met him maybe 2 months ago. I think he's going to help us reach out. He's already helped us when we changed our forms for police complaints, for civilian complaints to come in. The language was not properly done in Spanish. he's changing that for us. We're reaching out and getting them on board with this. We've made it easier so that they can come to our town hall and they don't have to go to the police station to make a complaint. We will be reaching out further within that community by actually physically going into the community, and we are making progress. And we're going to continue that way.
Have you had any personal conversations with any of the congressional delegation or the governor who said these things about you? The governor called you repugnant. Rosa DeLauro was also critical of your words. Congressman Murphy said you needed another apology. You had any conversations with them at all?
No, none of them have called me. There's been no conversation. All the conversation has been in the press. Not one of them has called me to reach out to ask if they could help. I get a lot of criticism. My friends have called me to reach out to me, but I've been in contact with my state legislature, my senator. We have made contact with some of the minority leaders of the legislature. We will be meeting with them. I will be sitting down with them. I have reached out to them through my state legislature, and that's another avenue that we're going. I think that both sides can come to some kind of understanding, and we can settle this and be the type of town that, you know, the people on the outside want us to be.
Mayor Joseph Maturo, we thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Well,
we'll have you on again.
I hope I did our town well, and we need some repair, and we're going to do that. And thank you, Dennis. I appreciate it.
Thank you.